What do you do when you're not feeling great? What do you do when it's not your best day? How do you do that? Carries you through as rituals and habits. So when you're fatigued, when you're tired, when you're under pressure, you react reflexively. And so successful people rely on habits and rituals, not just their inspiration and motivation level. Of course, we're both professionals at being motivated and inspired, but that's not every day, every minute. And so what do? I work on the days because my habits and rituals carry me through. It keeps me calm, it keeps me comfortable. The other thing it does, it gives me confidence because it's something I can deliver on that I promise myself. I can control what time I get up. I can control whether I pray. I can control whether I ask my gratitude questions. I can control whether I go to the gym and work out. And when you start a day delivering on the first 5 or 10 promises you make to yourself, that's a confident day you've begun. And when you finish the day, keeping the promises you make to yourself, you go to bed and I think you rest better, as we've talked about earlier. You sleep more peacefully and you wake up more confident that you can deliver. So that's how important habits are for me. They literally control the beginning and end of my day. Maxing out means getting the most out of every day. And I'll give you the analogy. We talked earlier about meeting the person that you're destined to be, right? Well, that doesn't happen at the end of your life. It happens every single day by maxing out your passion, maxing out your joy, maxing out your work, maxing out your workout, whatever it might be. And my son was a little boy. He was 6 years old. And we went to this car wash. I'll never forget this. And I'd see the same man there every day read a newspaper, every Saturday. And we were there, and he's a nice man. And he said to me, he goes, "How old's your little boy?" And I said, "Oh, Max," that's my son's name. He's 6 years old. And like most parents would say, he says, "Well, enjoy the 6-year-old, because when he turns 7, the 6-year-old's gone forever." Which is true, we all had kids. And he goes, "And when he turns 8, that 7-year-old's gone forever." And I was young and kind of cocky then. I didn't mean to be offensive. And I said to him, I said, "Sir, when did that process stop for you?" And he just stared back at me. And he goes, "I don't know." And I thought to myself, I never want that process to end. In other words, the 24-year-old me should never be the same when I turn 25. That guy should be gone forever. And the 26-year-old should be gone forever when I turn 27. But for most people, somewhere in their life, in the middle there, the 25-year-old's a lot like the 22-year-old. The 35-year-old's the same person the 33-year-old was. They stop that growth. And as you know, there's a cellular regeneration in your body all the time, right? But people don't regenerate themselves. There should be a better version of you every year of your life. Just like the 6 to 7 to 8-year-old should be the 40 to 42-year-old, the 25 to the 26-year-old. So maxing out is that process. And that process happens by maxing out my workout, when I just, everything I got into it, everything I got in my relationship, everything I got in my joy. It's not cheating myself. It's not setting a low standard, because what we get in our life is our standards. Habits and rituals deliver us on whatever standard we set, which is governed by our identity. And so I'm huge on setting massive standards for me. So even when you leave here, when we're done interviewing, I will ask myself, did we max out that conversation? Meaning, did I get the most out of it? Did I give it everything I've got? I'm huge on not being able to control outcome all the time. I can control my effort. So I'm obsessive about effort all the time. And so maxing out is related to your effort level and everything that you do.
Ah, powerful.
Yeah.
You also mentioned something there, because just if somebody's looking like the Captain Obvious version with max out, this is related to lifting weights.
Sure.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm curious for you, when did you get interested in fitness? You know, because after baseball, like, did you immediately just keep working out, like doing Kobe Bryant thing, or was it more like?
It was a little bit during baseball. I'll tell you a good story. I had a mentor. I had someone who got me passionate about it. So I graduated high school 150 pounds. I'm 5'9", 5'10", I'm not a big dude. First thing they did when I got to college, like, you need to gain weight, right? You need to gain weight. I'd never lifted weights before, never really wanted to lift weights. And you know who John Gruden is, the coach of the Raiders? Okay. Coach Gruden, who's Monday Night Football, now he's the coach of the Raiders, was my strength and conditioning coach my freshman year of college. Is that crazy? So I walk in the gym, let's go! Just a nutball, right? Like a max out nutball. And I always wanted to please coaches. I was always a coach pleaser. And so I decided I was gonna stay early, leave late. So I got addicted to training in college. I liked how it made me feel about me. I liked how it was a place where effort mattered. Right? Because I'm not gifted athletically. We were talking earlier before we got on camera, you're brilliant, man. Like, I don't have an incredibly high IQ, right? So I'm kind of one of these guys, like, I'm average in many ways, so what needed to be extraordinary about me was my effort level. And in working out, I could see results as I'd put in the effort quicker than I could, like, in business. It wasn't quite the delay, although there's a delay. So I got addicted starting in college, and I've just always sort of lifted weights since that time. Now my fitness has ebbed and flowed over time. And then what happened to me when I was 30 is I had an uncle who I look a lot like die of a heart attack at 50 years old. I resemble him a lot. And long story short, I decided to go get my arteries checked when I was 30. And I did the check, and the doctor comes back. The doctor was a great influence. You know how to get leverage on you to make change. So you do the scan, you take lunch, you come back. I come back from the scan, and the guy goes, I'm looking for Ed Mylett. He looks into the lobby. I'm the only dude in the lobby, the doctor. He knew what he was doing. And I go, that's me. And he goes, oh my gosh. And he goes, he's playing me. He goes, I can't believe these arteries are in that young a body. And he goes, son, you need to come back here. And I went, oh, you got my attention. We sit down. Instead of just going through the diagnosis, first thing he says to me, he goes, do you have any kids? I said, yeah. He goes, I said, I have a little boy, he's 2, and I said, and my wife's pregnant with my daughter. He goes, do you have any interest in being at your daughter's wedding? Imagine what that does to a dad, right? And I go, yeah. And he goes, so you need to listen to me carefully. If you continue the path you're going, you will not be there for your daughter's wedding. You will not be there to see your son graduate high school, and some other man's gonna be having breakfast with your kids someday. Swear to God, it's exactly what he said to me. I'm like, what do I, right? What's in the damn scan, you know? And so what it was is I had some blocked arteries already. And he said, we can fix this though if you do the nutritional program I tell you, you get on the right supplementation, you start really getting serious about your fitness and training. So I was already a workout guy, but this got me serious now about nutrition. This got me serious about my health, my energy, my wellness, because I had leverage. To this day, when I travel and I'm tired and I don't want to get up in the morning to work out, I swear to you, I go, Bella's wedding. It just goes off in my head, like Bella's wedding, and I go. Wow. So I got leverage, I got a reason, because the other thing that delivers in our life is our reasons need to be huge. My daughter is a huge reason. So that's how it links to my fitness.
You got to talk about that. We need something to tie it to.
Yeah, well, you have to have everything in your life. Like, it's great to have a great identity. It's great to have, you know, all these big plans and all that other stuff and great habits and rituals. But if your reasons aren't massive, see, that's the one thing. People set all these goals. They don't link to it compelling monster reasons, emotional, deep emotional reasons. Typically, your reasons, by the way, are always going to be other people or your dreams. People, I don't know what my reasons are. Yes, you do. They're your big dreams or other people you're doing it for. And so in my fitness, oddly enough, I do it for my daughter. I do it for the other people. I want to be here for them in their life. And so any monster goal you have, the fuel, the drive, the energy, the thing that's going to compel you to be congruent, it's going to get you through all this crap you're going to go through. The separator is your reasons. So I link to every goal. I have a podcast on that too, a goal setting one. Every single outcome and goal that I have that I want to do, I link to it massive emotional reasons that create a change in me that I want them. Because that's, people think that people like you and I are somehow freakishly disciplined people or way different. No, I have habits, rituals, and reasons backed by self-confidence and identity. That's my formula. Financially, my formula is this, and you're never going to hear this because there's all this stuff on social media now about borrow, 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 borrow. First off, the Bible says, owe no man nothing. So I didn't get rich by creating debt. And I can just tell you that I don't care about what type of debt you have, but the one thing financially is you do not want to borrow money if you can minimize it against a depreciating asset. If you borrow money for something that's going to appreciate, like a home or an investment property, I'm pretty cool with that, although I still think you should be careful with debt. But I see far too many people borrowing money against something that depreciates, like cars that they don't need to have just to impress other people, right? Or clothes they don't need to be wearing. And so on credit cards, don't borrow money against stuff that goes down in value as much as you can. The second thing is live below your means. Any person listening that's going to get financially independent, you have to pay yourself first. So believe it or not, as crazy as it sounds, when I was broke, I still found a way to pay myself, save $25, save $50. Because if you can't save money when you're making a little bit of money, you are not going to save money when you make more money. You think you will, but you won't. You'll continue to spend it. And so there was literally a year when I started to make money. You want to get really wealthy? I made multiple six figures one year, and we lived in a $700 a month apartment. I just saved and saved and saved and saved because my confidence in business came from my ability to acquire and save money over time, which took me a while. But to me, peace of mind is saving and cash. Cash is king. Not enough people are obsessed with saving cash. And so live below your means, don't borrow money against stuff that depreciates, and save money. And here's a biggie, start reading about money. Start to familiarize yourself. Pick up some books on finance. Start to know what you're talking about. Save your money. Here's the last thing. Only put your money in something, if it's $50 or $50,000, that you completely understand. If you don't understand it, set it in the bank until you understand, because too many people are investing in stocks, mutual funds, crypto, this or that. I'm not saying don't invest in those places. Those are good places potentially to invest. But if you don't understand them, your money should not be in there. You're not a professional gambler. You're a saver and an investor. Those are probably my biggest ones on saving money. You know, the best thing of living here, of living at the ocean, or having a jet, or other material things I have, is I own them all. There's no mortgage on this home. There's no mortgage on my Idaho place. There's no mortgage on my jet. There's no debt on any of my cars. Now, it hasn't always been that way, but the way I got there was by saving a bunch of money when all my buddies were blowing theirs on stuff to impress other people. The model for me is that I am about maxing out in my life, but the model for me is that I've learned from the mistakes that I've made, and that it sounds as hokey as you can be, I'm trying to get better. Every single day, every decision I make, I just want to get better, because you know what? I don't compete with other people. I don't compare myself to other people. This is my life, right? And so the model for me is this, and I just want to say this to everybody. There's probably a point in your life where you were given a script of who you were supposed to be, whether it's your parents or your friends or your spouse. And we live too often in our lives some other person's script, right? Someone else's script. Remember this, you're the lead character in the story of your life, and the person who controls that script is you and your God. And at any point, you can decide to step into a new chapter. You can step in to be a whole new leading character. And too often, at the end of a movie, you know at the end of a movie, there's the credits? There's like leading character, leading woman. But if you watch long enough, eventually you get down there, it's like cab driver number 2. You know, trucker number 3. They don't even have names at the end of the movie, right? Most people live their life worrying about what cab driver number 2, bouncer number 3, instead of your life is about those leading characters, those 5 or 6 or 8 people around you that you love. So my model is I live my own script. My model is I control that script, me and God. I can write a new chapter. Right now, you get off this podcast, you could decide to step out into a whole new character. Maybe not dramatic, maybe you're just a little bit more confident woman, a little stronger, a little bit more dedicated to your focus, a little bit more focused on keeping the promises you make yourself. You just start stepping into that new place. And for me, I write new chapters every year. I'm not interested in reading the past chapters. My past chapters are either are stories I've made up in my mind about how great I was, or big failure stories we repeat to ourselves. I'm about the new chapter right now, not even the future. Right now, writing that new chapter. That's my model, is I control the script, and I know I control the script with God's blessing.